Mars really was the god of war.
Wow.
Something really did happen on Mars, and it's not just mythology. There's some truth behind the myth.
That's crazy. My psychic does a lot of past life readings, and she says frequently clients will mention a red planet in their readings, whether it's past or future lives.
Wow.
So there's something there, right?
I believe it, man. I believe it wholeheartedly. There's something really going on Mars. You can just go and start looking at a lot of the anomalies from the image data, and you start saying, there was something here.
Yeah.
There was something advanced here. In the ancient Sumerian tablets, they talk about the Igigi working on Mars and on Earth.
Wow.
Two concurrent civilizations running at the same time. I hardly believe that at a time when people are supposed to be hunter-gatherers, trying to create farming and irrigation and all this, just brainstorming, trying to find ways to survive on a day-by-day basis, and say, I'm going to write this sci-fi story about people living on Mars and building a civilization there. It just doesn't add up to me. I think that these people were talking about what they actually experienced or witnessed or saw.
Is it possible for it to become habitable again? Because Elon's trying to colonize that Mars, but with all the radiation, right?
Mars is habitable right now today.
Oh, it is?
It would be the equivalent of being about 16,000 feet above sea level, but the Tibetan monks operate just fine up there. Mars does have oxygen. I did a whole video about Mars recently, and I broke down all the science data. Mars, not only does it have oxygen, it's producing oxygen on a consistent basis. Now, does some of the oxygen leak into the atmosphere because of the thin atmosphere? Yes, it leaks out of the atmosphere into space. But it's producing more all the time. What is producing oxygen on Earth? Trees and plants. There's something producing oxygen consistently on Mars. One of the scientists had talked about the fact that if you were at ground level, there's enough stable atmosphere, also enough protection against radiation at the ground level. So what they were saying was Mars has a localized magnetic fields. So it doesn't have a magnetic field like Earth has this core that's spinning at this fast rate. They're creating this electromagnetic field around to bend and twist all the cosmic rays around it so we don't get damage from the sun to our DNA. Well, they discovered that Mars has several localized magnetic fields, but also because of the spin of Mars on its axis and its movement around the sun, it creates something called bow shock. And this bow shock bends and warps those cosmic rays around the planet, protecting the DNA of anything on the surface.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Another press release came out where they said that the soil on Mars is better for planting crops than the soil on Earth.
Really?
So how would they know this? Because they've been testing it. Voyager 1 came back in the 70s and with a science kit on board said that there's microbes in the soil. And the scientist behind that experiment, he went public with it. He was on talk shows and everything else. And then they silenced him and they told him, there's no life. We don't believe it's life. We need more testing. And he got extremely pissed and he started talking about it outwardly. We can find him on Google. We could find the scientist name, the scientist behind the Life on Mars Viking 1 mission. You can find him and post it on here.
They silenced him, I bet.
He was pissed, and he's still pissed today. But now they have the new Perseverance rover up there with a science kit that's similar to the same one from Viking 1, and they knew eventually they're going to have to admit that, yes, because there's life on Mars.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're going to probably come out within the next 3 to 5 years or less with a big announcement. We've discovered aliens, and it's going to be microbes on Mars.
Really? Yeah, I remember growing up watching the rovers, like trying to find water, right? That was a big thing they were trying to find.
And they found it.
They found water?
They found billions of tons of liquid water on Mars.
Oh, wow.
They made an official press release, and on that press release in the middle of the day, on mainstream TV, they showed a mountain with water running down it.
Damn.
They found a 12-hectare lake a couple of years ago, which they documented, and they found running salt water all over Mars.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So now it's well known.
Yeah, within our lifetime, it could be possible humans are there then.
I believe so. People can go there. They can set up camp. Now,